Bree is, what's the word? Not nodding, shaking her head. Yeah, shaking her head. She is not satisfied. Sam is face palmed. This is No Limits, episode 101. We're talking about the PPSP
Poo-poo.
and the Vita. I'm in my Joker phase. Okay.
Oh
Hello,
God,
everyone.
he's gonna murder someone.
No, Bree. I'm not going to do that. I'm the Joker from the Adam West films, all right? He doesn't
I
do
don't
that,
know
does
what
he?
that means.
Does the Joker in Adam West Batman actually... What's the most nefarious thing that Joker does?
I have no idea because I haven't seen it.
Sam knows.
Throw like a pie in someone's face, I think.
Yeah. All right.
And he's a villain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam West Batman is a slapstick comedy film. It is not an action or a drama.
Can you imagine being such a menace with just like throwing pies at people? People are like, we got to get a superhero involved.
I think I talked about this, maybe not on No Limits, but I'm like, yeah, what if you were just the inconvenient thief, like taking all the oven racks out of someone's oven, just withholding them indefinitely the next time they go to use their oven.
Or like stealing somebody's windshield wipers?
Yeah, they could do that, but at least you don't always need your windshield wipers, but you always need your oven racks if you're going to use your oven.
I think I use my windshield wipers more than I use the oven.
Okay, Bree. Or maybe I'll steal Sam's all his USB-C to USB-A cords.
I was expecting a lot different answer. But
okay, I'll take his wallpaper.
You can't take that. Tom Nook will come after you, and you definitely don't want that.
You're right. I'll
He's scary.
I'll
He'll yell at you. He'll say,
that's how they talk. I think
so true.
I think Peanuts inspired them.
Gonna kill us.
Inspired how Animal Crossing characters talk. Because
Maybe.
Peanuts and Charlie Brown, it's all.
Except for the Animal Crossing character.
Yeah.
You're so right.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about anthropomorphic venture capitalists. We're here to talk about PlayStation. You're listening to No Limits, a PlayStation podcast. I forget if I said that yet. And I'm joined by my co-hosts, Sam and Brianna. Remember, you can find the video version of this pod over on youtube.com/SaveTheGameMedia every Tuesday. While you're over there, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you'd rather listen to audio, we're on all your favorite podcast services. We would love it if you could leave us a review. Yes, that's how it works. It helps us grow, and we would love any feedback. Shut up, Toph. If you want to support us and get early access to all Save the Game Media content, head over to patreon.com/SaveTheGameMedia and choose the tier that's right for you. Just like our current patrons did, Fabulous Brianna, Brianna's mom, Brianna's brother, Lindsay, Nikolai, Knight, Cypher Primus, Brenton Myers, Marcus O'Neill, Lillian, Mimi J, David Hotright. Wait, I was supposed to take Mimi J off the list, wasn't I, Bree? No, never mind. David Hotright, Dave Harp, the Xbox Expansion Pass, Alpaca Tom, Lee Navarro, Sol Canet, Ella Rewards Parker III. Thank you. And interact with us in the Discord. Links are all in the show notes.
That wasn't even the right person that may have had to be taken off.
Oh, okay. Whoopsie.
But also, they don't need to be taken off yet. They're still paying.
Okay. Toph. Toph is now bundled up.
Baby.
She's curling. Now, yeah, Luna wants attention. Sam's looking at his ceiling.
Sam wants attention.
Yeah, it's okay, Sam.
Luna, where are you going? Ugh, I was just going to make a spot for you.
I have an old chair that Toph just rips up, and it's basically her cat scratching post. I actually have a cat scratching post and Jungle Gym that's been in the box for over a year. I think I'm going to ditch the chair and finally put together Toph's Jungle Gym.
You should do that. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is our r/male living space in full effect.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whoa.
Can't relate.
True. Sam's, you guys don't want to see the rest of my room.
Sam is decent at decorating.
Yeah, Sam is way better than me. I'm scared to hang up anything. I'm afraid Tom Nook will,
Honestly, I do think you should lean into the Animal Crossing theme a bit more, but
isn't there any Animal Crossing adjacent PlayStation titles like Dragon
you can play
Quest
Stardew Valley on PlayStation, right?
Well, yeah. Just thinking.
Dreamlight Valley as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Sam loves
answer.
that game.
I did. I thought it was very good, even
Mhm.
in like alpha state that I was playing it. So
Why don't you tell me you hate me next time, Sam?
I do hate you.
Good. All right. How are you guys doing? Woo!
I've been better. This week I've been
Oh no.
struck down by a pretty intense migraine.
Oh, sure.
Don't get them too often, but when they do, they completely incapacitate me. So I spent the last, yesterday, fully just in bed, like bedbound, queasy and cold sweat, and all that good stuff. And it's still not great. Still pretty potent, but I'm dosed up, and I am feeling better today than I was yesterday. I couldn't do this right now if I was how I was yesterday, so that's a marked improvement at the very least.
Sorry to hear that. That really sucks.
Is what it is. Could you say maybe it's me overworking myself? Maybe. Am I going to do anything about it? Absolutely not.
No, Sam, wrong answer.
Work harder. That's what the takeaway is.
Nope. Toph, what do you think?
I thought it was work smarter, not harder, but
Yes.
what do I know? I'm just a marching band kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not a real sport. Bree, don't leave. Bree, don't leave, please. It's a sport. Look, if curling is a sport, marching band is a sport. It's pretty. Curling, they throw a hockey puck across the ice using 2 large toothbrushes to make it go a certain distance.
All I'm saying is, have you ever tried jazz running with a giant 20-pound bass drum on you?
Dude, when you're in like that summer heat,
Oh
that September
God.
heat, that May, June heat.
We had to do the 4th of July parade. Sometimes we had to do multiple 4th of July parades, and we were forced to do it in uniform, like in full marching band uniform, like long sleeve, long pants, hat on, feather in.
Supposed to feather out.
Yeah, feather. Well, we had like the feathers that go in the hat, and you have to take those out because you can't just leave those in. And then there was somebody in charge of the feathers, of course.
Dang.
But yeah, my first year of playing bass drum as well, we had spinners on them. So basically, there were like these extra things that were attached to the harness that you could unlock, and it would let you spin the bass drum. Those weighed like an extra, I think, 10 or 15 pounds because they were like pure metal. So walking with like 35, 40 pounds on you in that full uniform in July in Utah in a desert.
No kidding.
But it's definitely not a sport, right?
No.
That's tough.
Do you guys even know what marching bands are? Sam?
They're teams.
No, I have zero contextual information as to what a marching band is. Because as everybody knows, nobody in England is educated.
That's
true. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys just had a new election.
Oh God. Don't even bring it up.
Okay.
It's too soon.
What do we got?
I can't talk about politics.
4 months to go. Less than 4 months to go until U.S. election day.
Kill me.
Fingers crossed.
I can't, you guys. I can't. I'm checked out. Not really, but like I'm pretending I'm checked out. It's like one of those things where you're like watching, but like you're squinting so you can pretend, or like watching through watching through your hands. So you can pretend you're not looking.
Yep. Yeah, tough. I know.
How are you, Taylor?
Me, don't worry about me.
I'm worried about you. Tell me.
Rough week of work.
You don't say.
I think I made a mistake on Thursday.
Oh no.
And then Friday we had performance reviews.
Dude, performance reviews are actually the worst.
And I was like, performance review went well, I was confused. I'm like, I just did this like oopsie yesterday.
Yeah, but it's performance review isn't about yesterday. It's about like the
but
whole
my manager
period.
was like, it's fine. It's one little mistake. I'm like, okay, manager. Meanwhile, my anxiety was tearing me apart. And I love that. And, don't make yourself worth your job, but you spend 8 to 10 hours a day at your job.
Do they make you do self-reviews or do they just do the review?
No, I don't have to. You can if you want, but it's not required for me. So I just never do.
For me.
Why would I would much rather my manager propose a rating and me, if I don't agree with it and I think it should be higher, than me arguing for it, rather than me just like rating myself. And if you're rating yourself, why wouldn't you just put exceeds in every, it's like you have to artificially, it's like planned obsolescence. You have to artificially rate yourself down so it seems acceptable to management in certain categories rather than giving yourself high ratings all around. Though it's a stupid game you play where I'd rather just have management do it. And if I disagree, then I'll talk to them about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or I shouldn't say management. I think you should have peer review performance ratings. An aggregate, your manager sends out performance surveys for everyone else on the team for you. Like you rate your coworkers, and everyone on the team rates everyone except rating yourself.
Yeah, but that would also just end up in you just saying everybody exceeds.
Yeah, it would. Management can't have a rating where everyone can't be doing well. Someone has to be doing worse than well, even if everyone is really good on the team. That's why I really don't like stacked performance ratings where someone has to be doing bad to make it look like a little bump on a curve.
There's somebody doing really bad at my work, if that makes you feel better.
Oh.
Actually, two somebodies, but one of them just left for a temporary leave until January.
The other one's Sam.
Sam doesn't work at my job.
Okay. Anyway, yesterday I had a good day. I'm touring around all the pizza places in my city that I won't name. Because
you'll need to send me the recommendations, though.
It was good. It was actually good pizza.
It's pizza time.
I love pizza.
Pizza time. Oh yeah, Bree, do you like Pizza Time from Spider-Man 2?
I'm glad you specified what it was from because I totally forgot, but yes, I do.
Sam, is there more appetizing pizza scenes in movies than the Home Alone scene where Rob Schneider's opening up the steaming box of pizza outside the limo and the Pizza Time scene from Spider-Man 2?
I'm really glad that you asked Sam because I haven't seen that movie.
That was so much contextual information for that reference. I'm sure there probably is, but I would be hard pressed to like pull one of those off the top of my head. So
I like the scene in Goodfellas where they're cutting garlic with an X-Acto knife.
Sure. Yeah.
Garlic is so good, you guys.
Bree, what brand of water bottle do you have? I need to get a new water bottle. And I think it's like a Walla.
Yeah, I really cannot recommend a Walla's more. I'm really weird about water bottles, about water in general. And this is the only one that I'll drink water out of now. Yep, it has a straw. You can't see, but there's like this little extra lip here where you can sip out of the straw, or you can like chug. Like you can also tip it, so you can pick between the two.
You could just take the cap off and just.
You could, or you could just chug normally through the chug thing. The other thing that was kind of a really funny selling point is when I saw somebody talk about it, they said, like, because you can seal this part separate. This is like, this seals the lip, or I guess the, like, whatever cover. But you can also hold it like this, so you can carry it around. And if you need to, in the middle of the night, some guy tries to walk up on you, you can
Slam him.
Yeah, swing and slam it at him. It's really heavy
Nice.
and metal. So.
Need to get one. I have a plastic one that leaks, and it's all plastic. I'm like, eh.
They have a lot of fun colors too. If you get the smaller ones, they have Star Wars themed, Harry Potter themed. They have
I'm
a
getting
couple
at
of
least,
themes.
at least 24 ounce, maybe 32. Which one is yours? I think
40
yours,
something.
Yours is 40 ounce?
It's 40. Yeah, 40 ounces, I think. Hold on.
Wow. Yours looks smaller than that. Sam, what are your opinions on
the
water bottle economy? Okay. I'll have to get a 40er.
I don't really have any opinion, but I must say I don't really like the idea of anything having a chug hole. So,
but it has a sip hole too. And it's kind of, I'm going to be so honest with you. I only noticed this on accident. It kind of looks like something inappropriate. So
I'm not surprised for something that has a chug hole.
Well, I mean, the only reason I noticed is because one time I drank it sideways and I was like, well, that was weird. Anyways, just.
Is this all adults think about? Suggestive themes?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, they have the Marvel stuff too.
Stupid puberty.
What's that?
Or I could just crash my testosterone levels and see what happens.
Okay. They have a Captain America, Captain Marvel, Thor, and Iron Man, but those ones are only 24 ounces.
Nope.
So I'd still recommend the 40 ounce.
They have a red one. That's what I'm getting.
They do.
All right.
You know what they call it? They call it the free sip.
Speaking of free sip, Sam, only 12 days until Wolverine and Deadpool come out.
Yeah. I mean, you got that title completely backwards, but yeah.
I'm so sad I'm not going to be watching that movie.
Why? Why aren't you watching it?
Because I'm not caught up in any sense of the matter.
I'm not either.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I mean, I'm caught up with all Wolverine content.
I'm
and
not.
all Deadpool movies, so there's that.
And I'm not. I haven't seen a single of either.
Logan is so good.
So it's like, how am I even supposed to watch that movie? But I want to because it looks super queer.
Bree, have you watched Daredevil though? Because I'm not sure.
Sam, you shut your mouth.
You shut my chug hole.
Maybe the sip hole.
I love when Sam breaks. So yeah, I have seen Daredevil before, but just season 1.
Okay,
so.
Yes, right.
Just wait. Sam, riddle me this.
Oh no. You opened this can of worms, Sam.
Wolverine's is now, or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is now in the MCU. So is Logan and the X-Men, the Fox X-Men films now shoehorned into being canon in the MCU, or is it just the multiverse thing? Where it's
multiverse.
So Hugh Jackman's universe is a multiverse, another universe that's now being acknowledged by the MCU.
Do we have an Earth number? Because I need that number.
All right, Earth numbers.
I mean, technically, yes, but that's been contested, and technically there are a couple of different projects that say different Earth numbers, so but we haven't gotten to those yet.
Do we have Warden who the next Wolverine is?
Nope.
It's me.
This man's almost 60. I think it's time.
He's still quite handsome.
There will be another one.
I'm just talking about, all the PEDs and working out you have to do to be Wolverine over the age of 50 is a little tough on the body.
Yeah.
I forgot to say something, so for just in case I have to get up, you guys, I ordered a big package today, and there's a chance it'll come and there won't be anybody to grab it, so I may need to go to the door.
It's okay. I'll just sit here and wait silently, and we'll just wait.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. We're not going to edit it out either.
I'm okay with that.
It's going to be intermission.
I like making people uncomfortable, so yeah, that's a really good idea.
Okay. Well, have you guys been playing anything?
Sam?
Well, before I do that, because I think to get into questions.
eBay haul?
Yes.
Oh,
the-
oh
so
yeah, oh
it's
yeah.
been a few
Oh,
weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm murky on where I was. But I think I know I said to you, Bree, I think Taylor might not have been there for that episode. I said that I picked up a Final Fantasy 16 copy.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said about Subnautica Below Zero.
Oh my god, I saw a video of Subnautica the other day where this guy saw something called the Leviathan, and I almost threw up
Yeah.
watching him. I was like, I can never play this game.
Come
Yeah.
on.
I might have said this, but if I didn't, I also picked up Dirt Cheap. I think it was
picked up Dirt.
£1.50. I think was the ultimate or complete edition or whatever of The Witcher 3 for PS5.
Wait, for
so
£1.50?
Yep.
Where?
eBay is great, my boy.
$1.50.
Yep.
And the DLC
Just
is
got to
on
be
disc.
smart. Yep.
Wow.
And then the most recent update is a few things. So I don't think anybody would have heard of it. Maybe you have. Road 96.
I have heard of this game.
Mm-mm.
It's a recent indie, is it not?
Yeah, relatively recent.
It was the roguelite indie we talked about, right? Where you're in the first person and you're behind the wheel of the car.
That specific drive, but
close.
Well,
I've heard of Road 96 anyway.
Yeah, it's like a narrative thing. It's very good, and again, could get it quite cheap. So I thought I'll pull the trigger on it. Taylor, for you, my boy. I mean, I didn't do this for you, but specifically because this is pertinent, I picked up Control because
good job.
I didn't have it on PS4 physically. I got it through PS Plus, I think, back in the day. And I got the Ultimate Edition through PS Plus on PS5. But I wanted a physical copy. And then the thing I'm most happy about, again, scored relatively cheaply for what it is I got the Vengeance edition of Sifu.
Nice.
Because I got a steelbook, I got like the little art cards.
Oh, did you get this new, or is it also used on eBay?
An art book with all the art.
It looks in perfect condition for being used.
It is pristine condition. And I also got it through eBay. You're correct. Yeah. So again, I've obviously already played through all of those three games actually, but Sifu especially holds a very special place in my heart because not only is it an excellent game, but also it's for people that will remember the first project that I was trusted with at IGN to go solo on. So that sort of is a bit of a milestone moment in my history of video games coverage. So I thought secure a nice, pristine, special copy of that game. So that's the whole update. There may be a few more things on the way. What have I been playing though? More Erdtree, of course, because believe it or not, I'm still not done with coverage of that goddamn game. Dabbled in Helldivers 2, still trying to get back into that in a meaningful way. But that will probably come when Erdtree is out of the way. I'll get back to it probably. And then I think we'll be tackling this more holistically in a second. I've been playing a fair amount of the Concord beta. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I've been playing.
Taylor, what have you been playing?
Say nothing and get it
How do
over
I
with.
answer this? Well,
Nano, zilch, squat.
I don't think Taylor plays much games as of late, but when he stops talking about himself in third person because that's weird and narcissistic. I played Control. I finally beat the Alan Wake side quest. Oh wait, that's spoilers for people who haven't played it.
It's old. It's fine.
Look, if I was listening, I'd be mad to hear there's an Alan Wake side quest if I didn't experience it yet. All right, I'm that guy. That was really fun, and now I think my next step is supposed to be Ashtray Maze Dimensional Research. So this is the part of the game that people say, makes them love their family again or something. So I'll see what all the hype is with that. A lot of my would-be gaming time was finishing Twin Peaks this week. Like season 2 of Twin Peaks. That Dale Cooper.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Gordon Cole is the real MVP. Hey, Cooper. I can't hear you, Cooper. David Lynch. Great performance.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also started watching Chinatown yesterday because I was tired of Twin Peaks.
No idea what that is.
That is an interesting choice.
It's a noir film with Jack Nicholson from the 1970s.
Okay.
Where he says, hello. Robin Williams is the best impression of Jack Nicholson. Where he says, hello, brother. Anyway, so yeah, some Control more. And yesterday I was watching a Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 stream in anticipation of Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero, where they were betting on. It's so funny. It's fun. It was fun. Like, so you can pit the CPU against each other in a tournament, and we were taking internal bets in chat with like fake currency, like Twitch chat fake Nightbot currency about who will win the matchup, and it was fun. Some fun matchups like Super Saiyan 2 Gohan fighting his dad, fighting Goku. But at the end of the fight, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan used the... Does anyone know what I'm talking about here? Do you know the Kamehameha that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan uses in the show? Where Goku is behind him in spirit?
I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen the show, but I know way too much about the show.
So there were fun scenarios where like that was happening, but the opponent was Goku. So it's like, Dad, I'm going to kill you with yourself. And fun stuff like that. Matchups that would never happen and that are funny. And that was fun. And it got me more hyped for Sparking Zero that releases on October 8th, 2024. And I think I might play Budokai Tenkaichi 2 story mode in the interim for fun. Because I never played that story mode and I heard it's great. You actually fly around the map. It's from like 20 years ago on the PS2. It's actually an expensive game used nowadays, Sam. It's like $60 complete in box. Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is even more expensive. Nowadays market. I know when I got it on the Wii, it was like, $10 in 2007. But anyway, I was not playing, but ingesting more Budokai Tenkaichi content.
Cool.
Okay. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Bree? You playing more Dan Trail?
I have been playing more Dawn Trail. It's slowly killing me. I'm enjoying the story, but I also am getting to the point where I'm like, maybe I'll just watch somebody else go through the story and skip everything so I can because if I don't start doing my duties, I'm not going to be at my eye level isn't going to be high enough to run the high end content. And I need to start doing the extreme trials because you can only get rewards from that once a week. And if you don't do that once a week, then you don't, again, get your eye level high enough. So then you can't do the extreme raids and stuff. So, I don't know. But, yeah. So I've been playing Dawn Trail. I don't think I've played much of Elden Ring this week. I was, Sam, going to ask you, just because I kind of got to a weird spot again. So I was in the castle that I told you I was in, right?
Mhm.
And then the castle opens up to that river area. And that river
Uh-huh.
area is a huge can of worms, right? So I made it past all of that river area, and you eventually go down 5 or 6 times until you're in like another area. You go into a random dungeon. In said dungeon, you go down like 4 or 5 times. Like there's like those elevators that you go down and then you go down and then you go down. Anyways, made it to the boss fight, right?
Mhm.
Beat the boss. Back of the boss room is a whole new area. Do I keep going through this area, or do I just say, hey, I'll come back later and then go back to the castle?
Depends on which area you're talking about, because that castle acts as like a gateway to 4 different sub areas.
Okay, so it is the river that moves down into the east on the map. And when you get to the bottom, one of the not main bosses, but a boss, like the hippo guy, there's a copy of him guarding the dungeon. But it's not a golden hippo, it's just a regular hippo.
Today I learned there are hippo enemies in Elden Ring.
They're actually not hippos, but that's what they're called.
Oh.
I would need to double
Okay,
check
I'll send you.
on that.
I'll send you the names of the places because I was
Sam
like,
needs to double check.
because yeah, I was like, because I went so far and I was like, oh, I finally made it to the end of the area because it was like the boss, and then I was like, oh god. Also, I don't know if this helps, but the boss was like the guy that's like a mage, but he summons like multiple versions of himself that are like not mages. Like he summons like a huge version of himself, and then he summons like a bunch of random things. So yeah, that opens up into an area that looks like a poison area, but I haven't gone.
Okay. Oh, you mean like, is it like a big wooded area?
Yeah.
No, I can take off my headphones and you guys can just
No,
talk
no,
about what
I
you
don't.
know.
I'm giving as much detail as I understand how to describe.
Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, that's an optional area. Like it kind of dead ends. Like you'll reach
Okay.
a point in it where you'll do a thing.
Okay, thank God.
and
Okay.
Then you will just have to then go back or take a different route from
Yeah,
the
because I
castle,
was starting to feel like this area would never end based on how many times I thought that it was going to end and then didn't.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's what I needed. I also have been playing Concord. I'm upsettingly surprised at how good the game is. For how well, like, for how terribly it showed, I should say. Like, the trailer, I feel like, just didn't do it justice.
So bad marketing. Good.
Yeah, I think so. I will say I wish that I think my biggest complaint is like the utilization of the abilities sometimes is a bit unclear as to what's going to happen when you press a button. And obviously it's like a easy solution of just press it and see what happens. But like also I wish like that they like the communication for how like abilities and stuff worked was a little bit easier. And also I'm still really terrible at games.
They did say, not that I'm excusing it, because I think that that's a criticism that I hold as well, of like, there's no way of, because you can't look at the roster of characters outside of the beginning of a match. And the time that they give you to select the character and browse through is practically non-existent. So you do kind of have to just, and like, to be fair to the game, every time you die, you can pick a new character. So it is incentivizing you to just experiment and see what each one does. But it is a bit weird. My original point was going to be that there is going to be like a training range thing in the game. It's just not in the beta in the same way that Overwatch does it. So you can go in and you can experiment with all the characters at your own pace in a non-PvP environment. But that does feel like a weird omission in a beta. Like, surely you want to put that in anyway, because otherwise you're going to get the criticism of people jumping in and being like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
very strange.
It is strange, but overall it's so far good. I'm at the point where if Save the Game Media crew is able to like start actually playing together, like I would purchase the game. So
is it better than Helldivers 2?
No.
It almost feels like for
me
me apples and oranges.
Yeah,
they are very different.
I personally like this kind of game better than I like Helldivers 2, but I also think that Helldivers 2 is made better. But it's also had a lot of time to kind of work out.
I don't even know if it's that personally. I think I get like I'm 100% with you. Like apples and oranges are two very different experiences. I kind of just think that there is more uniqueness to Helldivers 2.
Yeah, there's a lot of personality in that game.
And that's not to say that there isn't personality and tone and vibe in Concord thus far. I think it's just that inherently by the type of game that it is, it doesn't stand out quite as much. Like it is a hero shooter.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also will say, not that I'm trying to defend this game, but I almost guarantee that they're holding back some of it because it's the beta, and they talked about how they're going to have like those weekly story content pieces, and it's just the beta right now. I'm sure that they're withholding like that kind of extra spice and personality that they want to put in the game.
Yeah, because they have that, what I can't remember what the actual name is, like Galactic Guide or something. Which if you watch the first cinematic that they put out in the game, you get like updates to the end characters are talking, but you can't access it. And I think that is like, for all intents and purposes, like a lore compendium, but I think that there probably is more to that, because otherwise why wouldn't they again let us access that now? So I'm hopeful as well, and I shared in the Discord the other day of like, maybe it seems there's a PvE element to the game coming as well, which I think is nothing but a good thing. So because that again kind of does then put it far more squarely in competition with Overwatch, because obviously Overwatch abandoned all the PvE narrative stuff. So if Concord can corner that market and execute it well, I think that there's potential there for sure.
Yeah, I will say, I think it was it Kyle? I can't remember for sure, but somebody said on the Discord that it was kind of annoying that like when you are leveling up, it's just giving you random cosmetics for random characters rather than like allowing you to specify like I want to focus on this character, or like giving you points to spend on that character. So I hope that they change that system, or they have like a combination where it's both, because I like unlocking stuff for random characters you don't care about is never not a vibe.
I think it's just in a really interesting place, because again, you kind of have to see how things pass out over time, I suppose. But they're doing interesting things that I don't even fully understand yet, like the whole variance thing. Like you unlock different splits of the same character that have completely different perks attached to them, and you can then build a roster of those different variants, pick and choose, so then you have your selection that you're looking for to choose from when you're going into a match. And again, it goes back to the whole thing of the game is kind of like incentivizing you to switch characters, not every death necessarily, but a lot of the time when you die, you are kind of incentivized to swap characters. because the more you swap characters, the more passive buffs the characters you play as in the match get. So I get that they're trying to reflect that as well in the progression system, but I think that there is a middle ground where maybe you can say, pick 3 characters out of the roster that you would like to be focused on, so you have a much higher percentage chance of unlocking a cosmetic or a thing for them, alongside just general progression for other characters.
Yeah.
I think that otherwise you might get characters that hyper focus on just one character. You might get players that hyper focus on one character, which is fine, but I think then they aren't by proxy neglecting the rest of the roster. And for as team focused as Concord seems to be, I think that might be a bit of a downside if you're looking for specific team comps that you need to build towards. You can't really just be reliant on having access to one character the entire time. But hopefully they will act accordingly and act fast on any feedback they get. I think general sentiment has been like time to kill is a little too high across the board. But yeah, I mean, there are questions. I don't know whether we want to get to them, but
about Concord?
Overall, I'm with Bree that it is surprisingly good. Better than I thought it was going to be, put it that way.
Yeah, and you pre-ordered it, so.
I did pre-order it to show my support.
Is it 50 or 60 or 70 at full? At
40.
40?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 40 pounds. That's probably 50 USD.
No, the prices we pay aren't matched like that, so it's $40.
It used to not be that way. 50 pound was 60 USD.
Yeah. I mean, the conversion rate in general is that way, but I mean, the prices we pay in the UK aren't reflective of the conversion rate. We pay £70 in the same way you pay $70.
That used to not be it either. PlayStation games used to be 50 pound instead of 60 USD.
I'm telling you, it hasn't been that way for quite a long time.
All right, Mr. Know-It-All.
So we're getting screwed over here. I think that's why there was actually a lawsuit not that long ago that was potentially being filed. That
was 100% why there was
technically overpaying.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Listen, it's not our fault that we have different currencies.
Yeah, it's just our money is worth more because we're better.
We could have a global currency, the dollar.
Nice that you went for a global currency that
I was about to say
is specifically solely focused around your country.
No, I mean like literally called the global dollar.
Yeah, but why dollar? Why not pound? Why not dollar? Yen? Why not?
Well, then you're getting
euro. Why not?
Well, what do you call it? The TGC,
money,
the global currency, one currency. Just call it Zenny, like Dragon Ball. Like what's going on?
PP.
I think we should call it. I don't know.
I don't know you. Okay.
I don't know about you. Never mind. I hate that singer. I regret that.
You don't like Pink?
Well, I started singing Taylor Swift, and I don't like Taylor Swift.
What happened to Taylor Swift?
We can talk about it offline.
Well, Bree, is there a new tea?
Sure. If suing college students is tea, then yeah.
Sued college students.
Anyways. Okay, from Brandon, out of the current roster, favorite Concord character, subsequently favorite ability. We can just be quick on this since Taylor hasn't had the chance to play yet, but I like Lark, specifically the recall ability. Also, there is a woman that is a bit older. I don't know her name off the top of my head. And I think she's pretty cool as well. But I've really only played like maybe 5 of the characters total. So
yeah. I think what I said in the Discord, but it's either Lennox or or Jabali for me. Both being like very potent healers. I think that healing is like surprisingly vital in Concord.
Mhm.
And the ability to do that more often than other characters on the roster is pretty powerful. Also, Lennox's pistol seems to be like highest DPS in the game if you're landing shots.
That's the huge if.
Indeed. Which I have managed to be able to do most of the time. So when I was playing with Kev a few days ago, well, we were just tearing through the other teams regardless of the composition.
I can't wait to miss all of my shots. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to use the shotguns, you guys. It's fine.
There is the one character I really didn't like. I guess I should try to play them more. Is Itzy, the like little goblin furry woman. Who can like teleport. I think it's because she's not very spongy. She's got probably the lowest health of the roster, I think, but she makes up for that in agility. And I'm not about that fast-paced clicking heads type gameplay. So
I will say I did try playing the robot dude. And I surprisingly did not like him. Like, I like his character and I like his design, but I really hate his like main gun.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand what it's doing.
It's entirely support based. I mean, you can technically deal damage by shooting out the jet as opposed to sucking in, but realistically, I think the intention behind that character is just that he is stood in front of other players on the team using the jet to suck in all the enemy projectiles so that they can't deal any damage. I think that's realistically his sole purpose.
So
one thing I didn't figure out though is the thing that he can chuck out, the explosive. I don't know whether that increases in intensity if you've absorbed projectiles. Like, that would make sense to me, but I don't know if that's
I don't think I know the answer to that either.
No.
No, I don't think I'm not sure, but that would make sense though. Yeah. I will say, like, I think that in that case, like, his character is probably best if you are playing with people you know and you're like actually being strategic. If you're playing with a bunch of random people, it's not fun.
Nope.
So cute character though.
Yeah.
From Kyle, how do you feel about Concord's chances?
That's the question of the day, isn't it? I'm normally a realist and a bit of a pessimist. I'm actually going to err on the side of optimism here. I don't think it's going to explode in any huge way. Not like Helldivers 2 or anything. I don't think it's necessarily going to become a mainstay in the hero shooter space, but I think it will see moderate success. Like, all of the criticisms I've seen so far are like minor things that can be balanced and patched. It's not like the game isn't fun, it's boring, it looks terrible. It's like some people are still saying, yeah, it's derivative. I'm like, okay, but so is every hero shooter on the market. But everybody, or at least most of the genuine, like, meaningful feedback I've seen from people across social media is that it's actually better than we thought it was going to be. I'm pleasantly surprised. Andy Cortez loves it, Bree.
I love Andy Cortez.
Isn't a surprise, to be honest, considering the sort of
he loves
Valorant.
He loves shooters.
Whore that he is.
He used to be an Overwatch whore, but
yeah, exactly. So I think I would hope that a few months after it comes out, full release, I think if they slash the price in half, say make it $20, I think that's a good sweet spot. even if they could do alongside that, I know it's a bit unprecedented, but if they do like free PlayStation Plus weekends, like a beta kind of thing, but during the official release, where if you have PlayStation Plus, you can just jump in and play the game. I think that will probably benefit the game too. So I think as long as they keep up with the content, they listen to the feedback, I imagine Concord will do pretty well, and will be supported for a year or two. That's my assumption, or certainly my hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
My thoughts. So I would agree with what you said. And I actually would say that I think it'll be a little bit more successful than that.
Oh,
The reason being is that people are really unhappy with Overwatch. Not everybody, but
it's true.
in general, people are really upset with Overwatch 2. The path that they've been taking, like in general, people are pretty upset. So if Concord is kind of able to wedge itself into that market of people that are wanting what Overwatch used to be, I think that they have a really good chance of being successful because people are kind of itching for that kind of hero shooter experience. But
Yeah.
they do have to be kind of careful with like the way that they wedge themselves in there, because if they don't get into like that exact market, then I think what you're saying would be what happens, where it's like it has a good couple years and then it's out.
Because like the Overwatch 2 is free to play, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But the original Overwatch wasn't, certainly not to begin with anyway. I know because I bought it when it released. So I think like there's precedent for that. And as long as they are, if they do, because one of the main things that people love about Overwatch is like those character cinematics and stuff, right? That makes you care about the characters, but they come so infrequently that it's like it's a big event when one arrives, but they take so long to get there. If they can keep up the one per week thing, because like not that it was anything super special, but I liked that cutscene that they had launching into the beta. I thought it was nice.
I thought it was cute.
And if they can keep up that, keep them nice, short, sweet, but give the characters a bit more detail and whatnot, and can even tie that into like seasonal events and stuff, where it makes sense that the story you're seeing unfold in a cutscene is reflective in a limited time mode that you're playing, or God forbid, a new skin that's in the shop. I think that could be really cool. And like you say, kind of leech some of that Overwatch consumer base that's a little bit upset.
I think what's gonna, for me personally, make this game be successful is I need that Mercy character. Like I love playing support. I love playing healers, which is very feminine of me, unfortunately. Just fall straight into the woman stereotype. But like I love playing support. And so like finding like that support character that's like, yes, this scratches this itch will be what makes
Bree,
the game a win.
For the record, a position in basketball called point guard, their job is to assist other players and facilitate on the court. And there are plenty of men who do that.
Yeah, for sure. There are definitely men who play support as well. But when you look at like it's the statistics of like women when they play video games play support, it's pretty high.
They're all maternal.
Yeah.
All of them, Sam, right?
All of them, every single one.
I'm not very helpful, but like with the statistic, I really want to be the person that's like, you know what? I'm the damage dealer. I'm the carry. I'm never the carry, except for like when I'm playing like Soraka in League of Legends, and I'm like healing so much that I keep my team alive or something
playing
like
Sriracha in League of Legends?
Soraka. It's okay.
Does anyone call the character Sriracha?
No. Mostly people call her Raka just because it's easier to type.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Right.
I need a healer to play.
So I have a proposal. We're 54 minutes into the show.
Yep.
We have a post show to record today.
Yep.
What if we make our discussion about handhelds, a two-parter, and we'll continue. I don't know. I guess it depends. How much time do we think it would take to go through the PSP, the PS Vita, and the PS Portal, and do a post show?
Well, we could, if you guys wanted, just say that we were talking about the Concord beta today. And hold off on the discussion again.
Okay.
But you have to be the one to tell Kevin that we need another thumbnail.
Oh, you're right. He's not
Because
gonna like.
I don't want to do it. And he's at the beach today. So
Sam, do you have any thoughts on the matter?
Nope. Zero.
how short are you for time today?
Not.
Okay. Taylor?
Sounds like we could go full stop then.
Do it.
Okay, well, for this week, I wanted to talk about PlayStation handhelds because I think PlayStation's relationship with handheld gaming is unique in a way that Nintendo's really isn't, which makes it interesting. And I don't know, I just wanted to go through PlayStation's experience with console handheld gaming and where they go next, because I think it's interesting, especially given the recent success of the PlayStation Portal. And yeah, it's been a very interesting 20 years.
I almost bought one the other day.
Ooh. Okay. Black Friday, I bet you'll get some 150 deals, 150 US dollar deals. Yeah.
No way. That's crazy.
It's already been marked down as low as 180. I won't be surprised.
But $180 to $50 is a huge
Sorry,
jump.
180 to 150.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like $50 total. I was like, no way, Taylor.
150.
Crazy.
But yeah, so I guess starting with the PSP, the Center for Computing History is a UK website that had a good write-up on some background behind PlayStation Portable. A development of the console was announced during E3 2003, and it was unveiled on May 11, 2004 at a Sony press conference right before E3 that year. And the system was released in Japan on December 12, 2004, and in North America on March 24, 2005, and in the PAL region on September 1st, 2005. So pretty close when the PS3 launched in the US, right? Or I guess the PS3 launched in the US 2005, right? And it was Xbox that went to 06. Oh, there you go. And it primarily competed with the Nintendo DS as part of the 7th generation of video games. It retailed for $250. That's a lot of money in 2005, man. Anyway. It was more powerful when it launched compared to the DS. The DS launched in 2004. And it was the first real competitor to Nintendo in the handheld market. And its screen was 4.3 inches, and it had multimedia capabilities like watching videos, TVs, and playing music. It also was infamous for piracy as it would go on in its lifespan. Like, I can't think of a more pirate-centric piece of gaming hardware that wasn't a computer than the PlayStation Portable. Bree. What's so funny?
I'm Snapchatting my dad's girlfriend.
Okay. If you hate me, Bree, just...
I don't. She's listening. She's finally listening to Kingdom of Ash, which is a book I've been telling her to listen to for freaking ever. Anyways, that's
okay.
She sent me a picture that she was listening to it, and so I was smiling because she's listening to it like I freaking told her.
It's okay. I'll just leave. It's fine.
Taylor?
I'll go.
If I say pee pee poo poo, do you know what I mean?
All right. The PSP also featured connectivity with the PS3 and other PSPs via the internet. And it's the only handheld console to use optical discs, as we know it as UMD, or the Universal Media Disc, which that disc drive would regularly break, and these discs were very fragile. But the original PSP, it was the PSP 1000. Dash 1000. It was replaced by a
That's-
slimmer model. What?
No.
Whoa, Sam. Sam, do you have the PSP Slim? Right? Looks like you have. Not
Careful,
the
you're gonna summon a cat.
No, I just have the
the
base original model. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the Slim was released. The original PSP was replaced by a slimmer model called the PSP-2000 or the Slim or the Lite. And in 2007, another remodeling followed in 2008, the PSP-3000, which had a new built-in microphone and screen. And there was a complete redesign of the PSP Go, for those who remember, in 2009, followed by a budget model, the PSP E1000 in 2011. And the PSP line was eventually succeeded by the PS Vita, which released in December 2011 in Japan and February 2012 worldwide. And shipments of the PSP ended throughout 2014 worldwide and sold 80 million units over 10 years, which I think is decent, but it's nothing compared to the Nintendo DS, which I think had over 120-ish. Let me see. Nintendo DS lifetime sales. Nope, 154. Okay. Yeah, it's the best-selling console. It's right behind the PS2 in terms of best-selling. Yeah, 154 million units. So it sold about half as much as the DS, but I don't know. It still seemed like it sold a respectable amount. More than the 3DS, believe it or not. And more than the NES. Granted, the video game market got much bigger in the PSP days than it was in the 1980s and early 90s, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, the PSP launched with a number of games, some of which that I'll highlight are Ape Escape on the Loose, Metal Gear Acid, NBA Street Showdown, and Street 2 Unleashed. Unleashed. No, it was Unleashed. Anyway, Need for Speed Underground Rivals, Ridge Racer, Spider-Man 2, Wipeout. So, at launch, didn't really have much of a strong lineup at all. But some of its most critically acclaimed titles: God of War Chains of Olympus, God of War Ghost of Sparta, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars, Persona 3 Portable, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, Final Fantasy Tactics, Little Big Planet, Patapon, Burnout Legends, Daxter. So yeah. And I think did Monster Hunter not release on the PSP? It might have been on the PS2.
I'm sure there must have been some kind of Monster Hunter title.
Freedom Unite was on the PSP, I remember. Yeah. But yeah, it's the PSP. The PP.
Taylor, you have to be careful because that will summon your cat. My cat doesn't listen to.
Oh, my old cat really was a fan of. My new Toph isn't so much.
What about the SK? Yeah, Hydro Flasks.
What, Toph? She's always around when I podcast. Sam,
you're around.
You're fondling your PSP there.
Yeah.
I meant to, well, I should have picked another word.
You're fondling your
PP. Sam, what are your memories with your PP?
I adore this thing. Still do. Holds many, many, many memories for me. It currently is inactive because the battery, there was a very infamous issue with PSPs where the batteries would swell. And mine recently actually did indeed swell and crack. So it is batteryless currently. I can't turn it on. But I'm looking to get a replacement. You can't get official replacements, but you can get sort of third-party replacements, which fit in just fine.
I did that with my Nintendo DS, and there was no issue.
So I'll be doing that shortly. But yeah, I played so many. Certainly the 2 God of Wars, Daxter, Peace Walker. I mean, I still have Secret Agent Clank in here. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, Resistance Retribution, Patapon, I think there was like a Lumina's game on PSP.
Yep, it was on my list. I just didn't mention it in passing, but yeah.
I spent so much time with PSP, and I still have it, and don't use it necessarily too frequently. But it is, if I ever play anything on a handheld device, it is my PSP, which goes to show I'm not really that into handheld gaming. Yeah, I can't say enough nice things about the PSP, honestly. I think it is nostalgically beloved for a reason.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
I owned a PSP at one point, but I like literally never played it. I just owned it. What happened was I got it like after the end of the like life cycle.
What?
And my stepdad at the time gave it to me. So it was just like a gift, and then he didn't have any games that I was interested in, and I just never ended up playing it.
Yeah.
So
you're telling me Transformers on PSP didn't do it for you?
Hey, the Transformers games are coming back. Fall of
I don't think
Cybertron,
even have
the console
that,
title,
but it wouldn't.
Or for Cybertron.
What about Alien versus Predator on PSP? What about that?
Oh God, all the licensed games that were fantastic. Like the PSP was an arcade racing haven. For the record, the PS Vita is for JRPGs. The PSP is for racers. I stand by that statement.
You're not wrong.
And they had a lot of cool colors for the PSP. Remember, they had purple and pink, which I thought was like, whoa, those are girl colors, but they look cool. How can this be true? And I was I was like, but those aren't boy colors, but they look cool. How can that happen? I saw it on the PSP. So thanks, PSP, for helping break gender norms.
Amen.
I never had one. I had a DS. For some reason, I had the impression I couldn't afford one, or my family couldn't afford one. That wasn't true. My parents just didn't want to get me another console. They're like, you have a DS. Shut up. I'm like, okay, mom and dad, why don't you just throw me out with the trash can if you hate me that much. Toph is now trying to eat the screen. I played the PSP a few times with friends, and I remembered like the PSP felt by far the closest to having a console in your hands, and it wasn't even close. Like the dual sticks, the little.
I mean, the original model only had the one on the left-hand side.
Maybe the one I played was different. Yeah, it had the one.
I'm pretty sure revised models did have a second thumbstick.
Yeah. And I don't know. Had a lot of fun moonlighting as a PSP owner without being one.
Yeah.
But
for a first foray from PlayStation into handheld, properly, because technically there were like region exclusive handheld devices, but pretty unbridled success, I would say, for them.
Yes, Luna?
Excuse me, Luna.
That usually means she woke up from a bad dream. Loonies, come here. Come here.
Had the XMB menu from
yes.
PS3.
The cross media bar.
Yep.
You could download MP3s on it, plug in your headphones, no Bluetooth.
Play music. Yeah.
And video. Sam, did you jailbreak your PSP?
No, I did consider it at one point, but I don't know. I've never been too committed to that lifestyle, Like I'm one of the admirers from afar, where I'm like the concept of jailbreaking anything is like pretty dope, but I'm just never dedicated enough to even begin to think about following through.
Skill issue. It's okay. Hi, Solar.
Same.
Yeah.
If I did own it, I guess I would probably just do the E word rather than getting a PSP today. Unless I got the PSP today and then, jailbroke it.
Which E word, Taylor?
I was going to say the EJ word or
EMU.
Emu.
Followed by four letters. That's not early.
Immaculate.
So late.
Like that, but with a J.
No. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, Bree, not that. Not doing that. But couldn't the PSP, wasn't the PS Vita backwards compatible with wasn't the PS Vita back compatible with PSP games
I
digitally?
have no idea.
Or am I making this up?
I'm actually not sure.
Because if I was going to get a handheld Sony device now, it's not the Portal. I would see if I could put PSP games on the PS Vita. Just use the PS Vita with no LED screen.
Yeah.
Or just get a
Have to
Steam
check
Deck
that.
and emulate.
You know, I feel like I haven't paid the best attention to PlayStation's handheld market in general, but I do feel like they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the PlayStation, like their handheld consoles. Just because I just feel like they didn't commit to it the same way that, like, obviously Nintendo is committed to the handheld market, in terms of like making sure that there's games and support. And I think that that's kind of what, at the end of the day, ended up killing the Vita.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
So
We haven't talked about
I'm
the
just
Vita
saying,
yet.
like, I think that's
I know
why
what you
it's like the whole thing's dead.
Well, I think the Vita has a few reasons. One of them is making $100 memory cards for 32 gigabytes of storage. But
Damn.
at least the PSP did not take proprietary. Did the PSP offer storage expansion?
Yes? Question mark?
Yes.
Was it an SD card or was it
Yes.
proprietary? Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was a SD card. Yeah, one of the pitfalls of the PS Vita was using Sony's own memory cards. Yay! That are way more expensive per byte of storage than an SD card. Yay! Yay, Toph! Yay! But yeah, PSP. I feel like Kevin and Kyle. Maybe this is a missed opportunity. I feel like Kevin or Kyle, maybe Brandon would have had some great thoughts about the PSP. I know the Vita, at least, Kev probably drools over its games offerings. With all his Personas and his little Yeezys.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's not what I meant to say. I thought appending IES to the end of Yeez would make not be Kanye West Yeezy. Yeezus? No, then it's Yeezus. Oh no. Oh no. The Ease games. What? What, Sam?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, from PlayStation Portable, we went to the PS Vita. And Vita is Latin for life, and that's the reason for the name, I think. Mark Cerny was the lead
Live in
architect.
La Vida
for it.
Loca.
Ow. Toph? What?
Live in La Vida Loca.
Yeah, the crazy life. Isn't that right? Toph just
I love Ricky Martin.
attacked my forearm.
Yep.
Anyway, so the PS Vita was a successor to the PSP. Sorry, the PP. And the Vita was released in Japan on December 17, 2011, which is exactly 1 month and 6 days after Skyrim. Why do I know that? I know that because I'm a nerd. And released in North America, Europe, and other international territories on February 22nd, 2012. It also retailed for $250 like the PSP at its launch. It's part of the 8th generation of video game consoles. The 8th generation of video game consoles, and it primarily competed with the Nintendo 3DS. And the original model included a 5-inch OLED multi-touch capacitive touchscreen, 2 analog sticks, front and shoulder push-button input, and Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and optional 3G support. Right, the PS Vita had a data plan. I believe it was AT&T only. At least in the US, it was AT&T offered only. And the Vita was revised with the 2000 series, which was released in 2013, 2014. and it was slightly smaller and extended battery life, except it replaces OLED screen with an LCD screen, which in 2024 people scoff at, saying, "How could they do this to my boy?" But I think I'm gonna guess in 2014, OLED technology was a lot less affordable to manufacture than it is today. But yeah, PS Vita was the first really OLED consumer screen, period, that we got. Wasn't on TVs back then, really. Wasn't on laptops yet either. It was PS Vita was kind of trailblazer in that for consumer hardware. And Sony also released the PlayStation TV, which was a repurposed design of the console that had its internals and played some PS Vita cartridges, but not others. And it used a television, like a home video game console, and it was discontinued at the end of 2015. And the Vita's design was intended to bring together, right, the big budget, like Sony, Last of Us, God of War 3 era, or I guess later than that too. Horizon era of big budget cinematic games to the small screen, and they tried to toe that line. So in the year after the Vita launched, sales of the hardware and bigger budget games unfortunately started to stall and threatened its lifespan. But a concentration on indies and JRPGs kept it alive until around the end of 2019. And Sony never released their exact sales figures, but it was expected to only have sold around 15 to 16 million units, as compared to the PSP that sold around 80 million. The PS Vita launched didn't have really a good launch lineup other than Uncharted Golden Abyss, to be honest, and Rayman Origins. It had another Luminous game as well. But some of the most critically acclaimed Vita games are especially JRPGs like Persona 4 Golden, Ys Memories of Calcutta, Odin Sphere, Lathrasir, I don't know if I pronounced that right, Dragon's Crown, Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. And one of its most critically acclaimed games, was the first Gravity Rush, which is one of Sony's more niche first-party action titles. So yeah, and that's the PS Vita. Oh, sorry, Tearaway, I think, was the biggest tech demo for the hardware that people enjoyed a lot. I shouldn't call it a tech demo. People really liked the game and also showcased the technology.
Back when Media Molecule actually made games.
Yep, and it was Media Molecule, the folks who made Little Big Planet. There's also a Little Big Planet title for the PS Vita, for the record. But yeah, it's the PS Vita. If you're an indie or JRPG enjoyer, this thing is your pride and joy. And if you're gaming, I can't think of a more hyper-focused, beloved piece of hardware for the game enthusiast, microcosm of a crowd than the PS Vita. The gaming journalist zeitgeist couldn't get enough of the offerings from this.
Mm-hmm.
I was not one of them. I'm not Kevin, but I wish I played Uncharted Golden Abyss, which I never did. That was a Ben Studio game.
Was?
Killzone Mercenary and Uncharted were the only games I think I really wanted to play on the Vita, and Gravity Rush, but Gravity Rush was remastered for the PS4. But I remember how I thought it was really cool, and the screen always looked great. It had its own bubble UI, right, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did either of you guys get the Vita?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did indeed. Yeah, I don't have it with me currently. But no, it's a great little bit of kit. I think it's realistically just a better PSP. I relent the fact that it didn't sell incredibly well, because Sony did do a relatively good job of supporting it with big games, and I think that the sort of lackluster sales, comparatively speaking, really very clearly put them off of continuing within that market for a long time. I could totally see a reality where, the Vita sold demonstrably better and sort of maybe on par with the PSP, and they never left the space. Because it's kind of like Nintendo learned the right lesson when PlayStation learned the wrong lesson. Because Nintendo had a complete failure with the Wii U, and instead of pulling out of the space, they realized that because nobody else was doing it, there was still the niche there that wasn't being catered to. So they then made the Switch, and you don't need to speak about how successful the Switch has been. And I think that Sony had the success with the PSP, saw lesser success with the Vita, and maybe considered it like depreciating, declining returns, and thought the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, which is unfortunate in hindsight. But I can't necessarily blame them at the time for pulling. So yeah, but at least, like you say, it is looked back on very, very fondly, and regarded as like one of the best handhelds there has ever been. So yeah.
Bree?
I really, unfortunately, I haven't touched these. So, like I said, from my perspective, I think that, when you compare, a Nintendo handheld console, not necessarily the Switch, because the Switch is all Nintendo has now, but when, Nintendo had secondary consoles being, the handheld consoles, versus, the home consoles, I still think that they put way more games on the console. So... yeah. I don't have too many helpful insight on actually playing the Vita, but I will say I did really want one, and the Vita died before I could ever even actually get something.
Yeah. I wonder if they have any plans to port Vita games or somehow work in a PS Vita to PS5 native emulator. It would be great, with the backside of the DualSense, we have the capacitive surface to play. I guess Tearaway Unfolded. Okay, really sorry. Simple question. Was Tearaway Unfolded? It was a port. It wasn't a sequel, right?
That's so Tearaway and Tearaway Unfolded aren't the same game. Fundamentally, they're essentially the same, but Unfolded was an altered experience in comparison to the Vita version, because you didn't have the touch screen on the touchpad on the back of the controller as opposed to you did in the Vita, and that was quite heavily used, and things of that nature, like specific Vita features, were used a lot in Tearaway that couldn't be replicated on a DualShock. So
well, I really want to play Uncharted Golden Abyss, because it's the only Uncharted game I haven't played. Is it supposed to be canon, right?
I believe so. I haven't seen anything that suggests otherwise. I know it was worked on in collaboration with Naughty Dog, so unless they've retroactively decided it's not canon.
There's an Easter egg, apparently in Uncharted 4. And there's a couple mentioned references to it in Uncharted 4, so it looks like it's canon. Either way, I wish there was an easy way to play without getting... Well, Vitas are so expensive on the secondhand market nowadays, too. That's the unfortunate part.
If you want to play, there's this console called the Switch.
You can't play Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Switch.
I know, I'm just kidding. Hey, well, have you tried?
I don't know. PS Vita emulators must come around some point.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess moving from there to now we have the PlayStation Portal, and the PlayStation Portal, or the PS Portal, or the Portal, is a handheld device for PS5 game streaming. Launched November 15, 2023 for $200 US, which we covered when it came out, and the lead up to it. and the rumors to it. It has an 8-inch LCD screen and an effectively segmented DualSense as its controller with a screen in between the left and right hand grips. And according to PS Lifestyle, it's the PS5's best-selling accessory of 2024.
Of the many accessories that they sell.
Well, they sell controllers, headsets, console covers, like anything that's not the PlayStation 5 console is considered, or a game is considered an accessory, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I think that's so significant. Sony sells a lot of controllers. A lot of controllers. The fact that you're selling a Portal more than the controller kind of is interesting to me.
Yeah. I think honestly the Portal is probably the most interesting handheld they've done, not because of like specifically what it is, but the seeming chasm between what people were expecting it to do in terms of like sales prior to it coming out and what the market reality is actually suggesting. Because all the talk before it came out was like, this seems like a useless device. No one's going to want or use it. And it's been, for all intents and purposes, seemingly like this runaway success that is selling faster than they can keep stock up.
Yeah.
Which is just bizarre to me. But
I mean, I think that like what we were talking about, where it's like a lot of people playing games only have the one TV, and that TV is like what their family is watching, like their TV show on. And so it gives you that extra option. Or for like me, the reason why I was thinking about getting it is because like I was downstairs a lot, and I was thinking like, oh, if I brought this down, like if I had this thing, I could like play PlayStation downstairs while I like my family is watching whatever TV show they're wanting to. But like I think that kind of case use is why it's so popular. I will say the thing that kind of made me stop and think about, like, give it a second thought is that it has like, I think it's locked at like 30 frames
I
or
don't think
something
so.
like that. Like so specifically I wanted to play Elden Ring. And that, like, when I was looking on Reddit at like people's experience playing Elden Ring, it seemed to kind of be like mixed reviews. Like it might not be able to handle Elden Ring very well.
Oh, yeah. Because for listeners who don't know, the PS Portal, you cannot play the PS Portal without having a PlayStation 5 that is, right? Does the PS5 have to be in, it can be in rest mode and you can use it, right? Or is that a lie? It has to be on.
I have no idea.
Can you play the PS Portal?
I'd assume it has to be on.
I would
Yeah.
assume the same. But...
Yeah, just... Oh, wait, no, you can apparently. Because you have to enable turning on PS5 network. So you can turn on your PS5 from your Vita, even if you're away from your PS5 but connected to Wi-Fi on your Portal.
Sure, but to actually like play the game, you have to turn the PS5 on. So you can activate the PS5 from your Portal.
Yes, you're right. You have to turn it on. Yeah.
But you need to have it on to be able to run the games.
Yeah. Bree, I would expect, like, for a game like Elden Ring, I'm not surprised. Also because...
oh, no, I'm not surprised. But
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking about getting it for. So
it's like...
It's also internet dependent, right?
Yeah, it's internet dependent. But also Soulsborne games are one of really the only genres of games that are not fighting games that require frame precision for inputs. I should say require, that demand a very high level of precision on inputs that are not fighting games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so I'm honestly, I think instead what I'm going to end up doing is getting Dark Souls Remake on my Switch.
Fair enough.
So.
That's locked at 30. You know that.
Yeah, but the game is also like really quite old, and Blighttown already looks crazy, so.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't have one. I don't think I'm going to get one because I just prefer playing on my couch for now. But if I somehow get a wife and kids and they monopolize the TV, I'd probably just put a TV in another room. But,
there's a lot of steps in there, Taylor.
Yeah, you know. Or if I'm living with, you know, others or 14 cats and they all want the TV,
Luna does watch TV sometimes.
Nice. Yeah, Toss sometimes bats at the TV. But I think the more interesting question is, what does Sony do next with their handhelds? Because the success of the Nintendo Switch and the recent success of the Portal, I don't think there's anything that could be telling. I don't think there's any more of a clear sign to Sony that there is market demand for a dedicated handheld device, especially
See,
with the
here's
rise
my
of mobile.
thing. What they should do and what they will do, I think, are wildly different things. Because I don't think that they're going to understand and capitalize on this correctly. I think they're going to try and do like they just don't seem to like understand like the handheld market, unfortunately.
Well, historically they haven't, but Nintendo
Yeah.
kind of blew it open in 2017. Like we don't like. I guess how do I say this? Bringing console and handheld gaming together like Nintendo did with the Switch was unprecedented before it came out. And I feel like Sony, they would see the market success of the Switch and they feel like they have to offer something more. Like even just from a strictly financially motivated capitalistic point of view, we have to tap this market. The Portal isn't quite it yet. It's really a testing ground. Especially with how much more mobile things are going nowadays with smartphones and how mobile centric Japan is in terms of an Eastern market, you know.
I feel the path forward for Sony is pretty obvious. At least I would assume. My assumption is, because if we're scanning the market as it exists, we understand the Switch 2 is coming next year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Switch 2, for all intents and purposes, is going to be an Xbox One or a PS4, right? That level of power.
Yeah. Yep.
So my assumption would be that Sony understand that they can't have a PS5 level portable console that isn't going to cost like 800.
Yeah, like Steam Deck or ROG Ally or like ROG Ally prices, you know.
Which they could very well do SKUs, but I think that I don't know. I feel that is opening themselves up to more risk and potential for failure. So I think that with the Portal and Switch 2 and other handhelds in the market, my assumption would be Sony make a handheld that is at or slightly above the power level of a PS4 Pro, with the back compat stuff that they are doing now with PS2 and supposedly PS3. I would think that from the handheld you can gain access to, of course, the entire PS Plus catalog, but you have backwards compatibility on any digital games that you've purchased across any relevant console generation. And then you could have access to select PS5 titles via streaming. That would be my assumption. So it is essentially a companion piece to a theoretical PlayStation 6 that is mostly back compat focused, that lets you play your PS4, PS3, PS2 titles that they hopefully will flesh out over the coming months and years,
right,
via PS Plus, etc. That would be my assumption. I think that that's a logical way to go.
Does that then lose the functionality of what the Portal does?
No, because you could always
Or
do
is it
remote
in
play.
addition?
In addition, I think. Sorry, right? Yeah. Then I guess it's a good point, Bree, you bring up, right? If Sony does the next handheld, then what purpose does the Portal have in the market? And I think the answer is it's the cheaper. It's like the Series S to your Series X in their handheld SKUs. It's how they split their SKUs. They give you one option where for your PS5 owners who want some handheld effectivity, you know, here's the Portal. I mean, I know they're different, but I think it's a more budget option to experience your games through a handheld by keeping the Portal SKU active. Because they're not going to shut it down after a year or two, right? I would be really surprised if Sony just discontinues the Portal when they launch their next handheld.
But it depends entirely on what we think the roadmap is for this supposed handheld. Because if the handheld is coming out alongside a PS6 or around that time, that would be 4 years from now.
Well, then we get in a conversation of when's the next console. I believe Sony could release the PS6 as soon as fall 2026.
I think that's way too early.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early, but they could. But I see what you're saying. Make the division, the portless to the PS5 as your new handheld is to your PS6 and PS5, PS4, PS3. Like align the handheld release with PS6's launch window, and you relegate your Portal to it was really a PS5 accessory.
Yeah, I've the way I'm viewing the Portal is more of a stopgap that allows you to. But to answer the question of like Bree, you saying what would happen to the Portal, I think that it would still be available as an accessory potentially, but the accessory would be primarily focused on the PS5 consoles and would be gradually phased out. Because if the assumption was, like going by my logic of what this thing might be, if it is primarily backward focused across previous gen and then having select access to, well, I guess PS6 titles at that point via cloud streaming, which you would assume the infrastructure would improve by that time, not necessarily perfect, but better than it is now. You would just have access to your digital PlayStation 6 library via remote play and or cloud streaming on whatever this new handheld would be. That might be my assumption, because not to be like capitalist, but that would also mean that if it has that capacity built in as well, they could charge more and put a premium on it, which is exactly what PlayStation would do.
See, I think that I just like fundamentally disagree with like having it be focused on backwards compatibility stuff, because I just don't think that Sony would do that. I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but I think that like historically we've seen that all companies, not just Sony, really just want to remake games and remaster games and make more and more money on games that they've already sold.
So
why would they have something that's backwards compatibility when they could just make more and more money?
Because I think Sony, there's an incentive, right? Sony is saying, how do we keep people on a subscription and buying our products for as long as we can? If you make it backwards compatible, you make their previous purchases accessible in the ecosystem, you bring people into a sunk cost fallacy argument. Also just wanting to access it turns into a digital collection and sunk cost fallacy argument as to why you do it. Consumers, as time goes on and consumers have more and more of their purchases or licenses, technically licenses to play these games that are carried over through generations.
See, but what you guys are suggesting is that Sony is going to make an entire handheld console, not just like the Portal, right? Not the Portal where it's just a supplemental thing that pulls off the PlayStation. They're going to make an entire console that the whole purpose of this console is to get like more PlayStation Plus subscriptions. They're just going to be like playing old games. They're not going to like it won't allow.
I'm not saying just playing old games. I'm saying they would be offering you, well, certainly remote play to the latest titles, but also maybe lower performance versions, especially for first party titles of your like PS5 games. Like maybe it runs at 30 instead of 60, or if it runs there's a PS4 version of a game you own on your PS5, it could run there. So, in addition to accessing your past library, I guess I think there's a big component of loyalty that you tap if you're Sony when you offer the backwards compatibility. If you can access your past library. Well, until the PS4 to PS5, they're starting to, right? Yeah. All your PS4 purchases are back compatible on PS5. And all your for Xbox, all your Xbox 360 going to Xbox Series purchases are, if you use the same account, they're all tied.
Xbox has never had the same issue that PlayStation does. PlayStation has been historically very anti like backwards compatibility versus like what Xbox has offered. I know,
but I'm saying this is a turning point that now Sony and Xbox, now Sony has joined Xbox on that, I think on that run in their x86 architecture, for the PS4 and PS5 and what I think will be the PS6 and being more like a PC. And Nintendo is now doing it from the Switch to the Switch 2. I think that's the shift. They haven't done it before because there was never such a big emphasis on digital purchases until the tail end of the 7th generation. And to ride that momentum, create subscriber loyalty, you bring the purchases forward by making it back compat.
And I would also say, Bree, you pushing back on the whole, like, why would Sony make something that is solely backward focused? I think the differentiator is that for Nintendo, the Switch is the console. Whereas for PlayStation, the PlayStation is the console. And we know realistically that we're getting an Xbox handheld. The Xbox handheld is going to be just a vehicle to play Game Pass through and your digital content. It's not going to have bespoke, unique software made for it. And I think that unburdening yourself from having to make bespoke software for a handheld device for an audience base that is traditionally or mostly not focused on handheld gaming is ensuring that teams aren't bogged down by having to make a game for this Vita 2 or whatever it's called. Like, it just means that the teams under Sony's structure as it exists right now can continue just making the PlayStation games that the handheld players can then stream through the handheld device. I think that it's just a supplementary thing that helps support the console rather than actively detract from it.
Sam, I also think a lot of cloud capability to the handheld.
So then in that case, like they would have to be really careful with this like theoretical like handheld of it being like really cheap. Like they would have I think that they would have to err on the side of cheap, because if you're not going to be like releasing games for this console, but it is a console, it's not a PlayStation Portal, like where it's like a supplementary like sucking on PlayStation 5 off of the side of it, then like I think that you like have to like be offering something like new and specific for that.
But they are, because the PS Portal, you have to have a PS5 that is on and is running the game that you're running on the Portal. Whereas this device, theoretically speaking, if it's back compatible and could run games from previous generations natively on it, is an entirely separate device. And they're charging $200 for the Portal.
Right.
So to have the flexibility of somebody watching and somebody could be watching the TV or playing something on the PS5, but you could be playing something completely different on this Vita 2 or whatever. I think that historically PlayStation always skew on the side of a premium product and overcharge rather than undercharge. And I think that based on the strength of PlayStation's libraries across generations, they probably feel that they have the bandwidth to charge not extortionate prices, of course not. I certainly wouldn't expect it to cost as much as a new console, but I think they definitely aren't going to undersell it, because they have a captive audience in PS5 that would like that option, hence why the PS Portal is selling so well. So not that I'm advocating for them charging more, of course. I don't think that they are going to, or even really need to, given how strong they are on the market already, without easy access to their previous catalogs.
So is the audience for this theoretical console then mostly just like people that have been gamers for a long time? Because if you're offering a bunch of old stuff, if you're not like passionate about gaming, if you're a really casual gamer, you're not going to care to go back to play old stuff.
So this is where I think the cloud component comes in. I think they make it cloud capable. And with the PlayStation Plus extra premium or new tier subscription, you'll be able to play, purchase and play new games and games in the PS5 catalog and PS4 catalog via cloud streaming.
Yeah. I certainly think it will cater more so than any other to like a already dedicated audience. But I think that it would take a lot of very good marketing, of course. But I think that Sony are building a renown for having the best games in the industry traditionally.
That are not Zelda.
Well,
I cannot wait for this new Zelda game, you guys. Playing
to play
as Zelda?
Yeah, man.
Shut your damn face.
But I do think that with the renown and the market leading position that Sony is garnering for itself, seemingly continually, that isn't showing signs of really slowing down all that much.
Besides Nintendo.
Sure.
Nintendo isn't even in the same market.
They are.
I know they are, but like it doesn't feel like
Nintendo's in the stratosphere, and Sony and Xbox are closer to Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they could stand a chance at pulling in, not necessarily like the entire casual market, because that's delusional, but I think that the scope for the user base is wider than it might appear, even if it is hey, you just have access to any just digital purchases you've made on previous consoles, but also you have access to the PS Plus catalog that's evolving and updating every month. Okay. I think, and you can do that on the go natively, and then if you choose to purchase the new games digitally, you can either cloud stream or remote play them. I think that's not enticing offer. Pricing is important, but then pricing on anything is important. So.
Yep. So I just wanted to just because we have it looks like 4 questions, I do want to make sure that we get to them. Since we had asked for questions specific for this episode. From Brandon, in terms of potential handhelds, more PSP quality or Vita innovation?
PSP quality.
Yeah, I'd also agree.
I don't think Sony need to push innovation anymore. They just need to focus on.
They can push it in the design of their games, just not in the design of their handheld hardware.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, if they can make it more efficient, I'm all for optimizing your hardware. If they have some AI upscaling technology or whatever, I hate it. I hate AI, but AI in the context of increasing your frame rate, that's okay for me. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like DLSS and all that. If they can implement that or an equivalent on the AMD side into their console, its internals, that'd be great.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. And then do you think a dedicated handheld with close to, if not variable PS5 quality is obtainable in a handheld? And would it be proper to compete with the Switch on a dedicated system-wide handheld?
Yeah. I think we addressed this. The answer is they wouldn't be able. No, I don't think they'd be able to compete with Switch. Nintendo, it was kind of a confluence of great factors for Nintendo to be successful with the handheld with the Switch, in that the Switch is a massively underpowered. Let me frame it this way. Switch is an overpowered Android phone in terms of its capability, its ARM architecture and its capability. And Nintendo is infamous for low-speccing their games and optimizing it to shreds with extremely low graphical processing power overhead. Sony is quite the opposite as of the past 3 generations, including PS3, PS4 to PS5. They're trying to get the most out of the hardware they can. And, from Last of Us or Uncharted 3 era games moving forward to now, Sony won't take that concession with the big budget AAA games, like cinematic games they make. I just think it's not part of their recipe. Do they have games that could accommodate a Switch-like atmosphere, like a Sackboy or a Tearaway or a Astrobot? Sure. But those are the exceptions, not the rule.
Yep.
I bet Astrobot is going to be fun on the Portal.
Yeah, man. Sam found the secrets in the new Astrobot update.
Did?
Right?
Yeah.
All on your own.
Do I have to go play Astrobot?
I have to
play the goddamn game.
Okay, Sam, that's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. Do I have to?
What do you mean? Like, have you played Playroom? Have you beat Playroom?
No.
Well, do that first.
I deleted it immediately.
So you have to.
Disgusting.
Okay, Bree, if you don't like Playroom, you're not going to like Astro.
I
But-
didn't say I didn't like it. I said I deleted it
So
because I said,
just
why
try
is this here?
Try Playroom, and then see if you like it. If you don't, then don't get Astrobot.
I'm gonna get Astrobot. That's
Why?
not the question that's happening.
Why are you getting Astrobot if you deleted Playroom?
Because why are you downloading something on my console?
It was already there.
That's my beef.
Okay.
I hate pre-downloaded
It's
games.
there
like that.
because they gave us one of the best platformers on PS5
It's
for free
okay,
day one.
It's an extension.
hold
It's an
on.
extension. Astrobot is an extension of Playroom for all intents and purposes. Or I guess so. You got to make sure you
Sam?
like Playroom. You have the opportunity for no money to understand that.
For the purpose of playing this new game that's about to come out.
No, you don't have to get Astrobot because you should be playing Playroom first.
Should I be playing Playroom because there's stuff in there
Yes.
that is important?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even trust you guys' answers.
Look, Bree, my fall for games is covered. We got Astrobot in September,
That's not.
Sparking in October, and then I don't know. What's in November?
Astrobot is going to take you 10 years.
No, it won't. Well, Sparking is like an evergreen game. It's a fighting game. I'll never stop playing Sparking.
Again, Astrobot is going to take you 10 years. With how big that game is,
In terms of hours, I don't think it's that big.
it looks pretty big.
I'd expect like
Anyway,
15 hours maybe.
yeah. It's not just big,
Which in
it's
Taylor
large.
time is 30.
Sure.
Yep.
And he plays an
Control-
hour a week, so that's 30 weeks.
Yep. I'm already at
Which
20
is over
hours.
half a year.
Yeah, I'm already at 20 hours on Control. And I haven't even touched the DLC, Sam.
That's fine.
Okay. From Kyle, how come the level of player skill in terms of FPS seems so low? We can skip that one until next week. Not because it's not an important question, but because it's not handheld related and we're almost 2 hours. Do you think that it is worth to buy a Vita in 2024 if they never had one?
If you can find one relatively cheap and you actually intend on playing it, yes.
Hold on. We're having an argument.
I agree with Sam. Also, I don't know if this is the case with the Vita, but it is with the 3DS. You can get 3DSs, Japanese 3DSs, much cheaper than American ones because they don't have a language switch unless you jailbreak it. But the 3DS jailbreak is infamously easy. Then you can change the language and make it unregion lock the console. So if that exists on Vita, I don't think Vita's region locked, but maybe the point is a Japanese Vita might be cheaper than a North American one.
Let's go to Japan and find one. Okay.
But it's a very good handheld. Yeah. So you should
I
buy it.
say we throw the Vita away and pretend it never existed.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that's been No Limits. This extra long episode of No Limits, almost 2 hours, and we still have a post show to do. Sam said he had no time limit. Right,
He
Sam?
has no limits.
He has no limits.
You're pushing mine.
I'll push yours, all right. Remember, you can find us on YouTube at Save the Game Media, Twitter at Save Game Media, Discord, links are all in the show notes, Patreon. Where can people find you, Sam?
Anywhere and everywhere at Sam Heaney, Heaney.
So if they look for you on 4chan, you said everywhere, they're going to find you there.
Yep. R34.
Under
Pinterest.
under poll,
Etsy. OnlyFans.
Redbubble.
Yeah,
Display.
up to LinkedIn.
I would
MySpace,
love to. I would love if Sam had like merch on
MSN.
Redbubble. Like that would be like such a niche thing. I need this to happen. Sam, make this
Yes.
happen, please.
Make it
I'll
happen.
spend money.
What about you, Bree?
You can find me at Fabulous Brianna, FabulistBreanna. You can also find me in the new storage unit I got. Don't actually find me there,
Oh,
please.
let's talk about the storage unit in our post show, shall we?
We will.
All right.
Bye.
See you in the post show.